Sometimes the way things start is not the way they're going to end. The 6-game bob and weave through the upper East Coast region of the American League this past week couldn't have started off in a worse way. Red Sox bats were coming from every direction, and the wall was a monster. The next stop on the trip was 161st and River, and on the first night, the world champions were not very receptive to the visiting Phillies either. Nights 2 and 3 took a pinstripe pivot. The power and poise flowed from the visiting dugout, with the National League champions displaying the offense that was absent for too long, and in the end, they put the finishing touches on a better Bronx tale. Interleague play rolls on next. Fresh off a series victory over one American League leader, the Phillies will get set to take on another American League leader as they get set for Game 1 of a 3-game series against the Minnesota Twins. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. Gary Matthews will be here in a little while. Well, the Minnesota Twins are a very good team. They sit atop the American League Central. Once again, it seems like it's a broken record for Ron Gardenhire's bunch, so the Phillies certainly will have their hands full this weekend, Wheels.
Yeah, it's not like it gets any easier, Tom. You know, after you play the Red Sox, you play the Yankees, I think maybe you'll come home, get an interleague series. It'll be a little bit easier. It's not. These guys, they don't hit a whole lot, but they do things really well. They run the bases well. They move runners. You see their batting average just 6. They don't hit a ton of home runs. They are 4th in Major League Baseball in walks, so that's why the on-base percentage is 3rd in the American League. Great player here in Justin Morneau, most valuable player in 2006. This guy just can flat out hit. He was beamed a few years ago, too, and it really hasn't affected him. He's not swinging the bat great coming into this series, but anything can happen with this guy. You see the power he has all over the ballpark, and he is one of those guys in their lineup that can really be a problem. Now, the Twins have great pitching. That's the thing that's really keeping them in the race and keeping them on top of their division, and they catch the ball tremendously well. See, their fielding percentage is best in the American League, and their pitching numbers are very, very good. So they're a team that catches the ball, pitches well, has timely hitting, has 2 great players in Morneau and Joe Mauer, and they're tough to play.
Well, you talked about the fact that they've walked 4th most in the American League. They've only allowed, well, the least amount of walks in the American League as a pitching staff, so not a whole lot of extra base runners. Well, tonight it'll be Nick Blackburn who'll make the start for the Twins. He has struggled here in the month of June. Joe Blanton has struggled as well. He'll look to get back on track for the Phillies. Another aspect of the Phillies game that they're trying to get back on track, and they did this past week, the defense. We'll see if the defense will fly again when we get back. here at Citizens Bank Park coming up. 9 in all. 6 are considered home games. 3 are considered road games. And it begins tonight against the Minnesota Twins, who come in a game and a half ahead of the surging Detroit Tigers, leading the American League Central. These two teams have really battled the last few years for that divisional crown. The White Sox are 6.5 games back than the Royals and the Cleveland Indians. Meanwhile, the Phillies winning 2 of 3 against the Yankees. What that did is that kept them 3.5 games behind the Braves and 3 games behind the Mets, because both of those teams just aren't losing right now. Mets have won 7 straight, and the Atlanta Braves have been playing good baseball since the start of May. And Shane Victorino and the rest of the Phillies know how important it was to win 2 of 3 from the Yankees, and that's what they have been able. That's what they were able to accomplish, and they're hoping to have more success this weekend against the Twins. And here are the two teams' records in interleague games. Now, Ron Gardenhire's team has the second best record in Major League Baseball behind the Yankees in interleague games. And this year they're 5-4. The Phillies, meanwhile, are climbing closer to the 500 mark, and against each other, 3-3. There was a series back in 2002 here in Philadelphia that the Twins won. They took 2 of 3, and then a series out in Minnesota in 2004 that the Phillies won and took 2 of 3. So let's take a look at the Minnesota Twins lineup in this game 1 of this 3-game series. It's brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Denard Span, he's a heck of a leadoff hitter. He'll start things off for Minnesota. Orlando Hudson's back off the DL. He'll bat second. Joe Mauer hits third, followed by Justin Morneau, the first baseman. Michael Kadires over at third base, batting fifth. Jason Kubel's in right. He'll hit sixth. Delman Young's had a good year. He's over in left field, batting seventh. Nick Punto, the former Phil, will be at shortstop, batting eighth. And batting ninth at pitching is Nick Blackburn. And they will face right-hander Joe Blanton, who has really been trying to figure some things out. This is his 9th start of the year.
That's funny. He started out like he was going to be okay this year. He really pitched some good games early on for the Phillies, kept them in games. But lately, he just cannot get the ball down in the strike zone. And he's not an overpowering pitcher, as everybody knows. So as a result, he's really gotten hit. Got hit hard in that game in Boston the other day. He gave up 9 runs, 13 hits in just 4 innings. Here's our scouting report from Southwest Airlines. He faced the Twins quite a few times because of all his years in Oakland. And the last thing there is he has to start to get his pitches down in the zone, or he's going to continue to get hurt.
Well, the Phillies have gotten 2 very good outings in a row from their starting pitcher. And Kyle Kendrick last night was fantastic against the Yankees, and it started with this strikeout of Derek Jeter.
He came right out of the chute and struck out Jeter and Granderson. Jeter on a changeup. Then he got a comebacker right there on a changeup to Granderson after he struck him out on a sinker. But here's the play of the game. They were after him hot and heavy right there. And if he doesn't make that play, who knows? Swisher gets another swing. It was a 2-run game at that point. Runners at the corners. And that just bailed everybody out. And Kyle did a tremendous job through 7 innings. Contreras, Romero came on and got the job done at the end.
Well, here we go. Game 1 of 3 between the Phils and the Minnesota Twins. And the first pitch from Joe Blanton is fastball taken letter high for a strike, and it's 0-1. Denard Span coming off a homestand in which he was 13 for 35. That raised his average to 278. He's a guy that will steal a bag if he gets on, and he has a very good on-base percentage at .351. Good changeup from Blanton. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Denard Span just recently signed a 5-year contract extension with the Twins, and they have been slowly building their foundation of players through their system.
Well, now they have a new ballpark too, and they have a better economic situation to try and keep some of these young guys.
A little low, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Makes all the difference in the world when you get a new ballpark and your revenues increase. You have more super boxes, luxury boxes, those kind of things, and it just really helps you.
Span fouls it off, and it remains 2-2. Well, for years, the Twins played inside at the Metrodome, and they moved a few blocks away in downtown Minnesota, or downtown Minneapolis, I should say, and to a beautiful new facility, and that's helped keep Joe Mauer, who's in the hole in Minnesota with the Twins for a long time. First action for Chase Utley. He retires Denard Span, 1 away. Joe Blanton has been working with Rich Doobie over the last few days, trying to get, as Wheel said, get that ball down in the strike zone. He has tossed with him in the outfield, and he's also had a bullpen session with him. And he thinks, Rich does, and Joe does, that they've worked some things out. And he'll face Orlando Hudson, who's just off the DL today.
Like Tug McGraw used to always say, the hitters will let you know.
And the first pitch that Hudson sees, it's getting off the DL. He rips foul. And one of the big questions for Hudson, who had a sprained left wrist, was could he hit left-handed? I think he can hit left-handed.
He really hit that thing. He looked like he's in a little bit of pain.
I was thinking the same thing as he was trying to stretch it out. He's a switch hitter.
Bounces from team to team, too. And, he never seems to stay with a team more than a year anymore.
Which is odd because he's a 4-time Gold Glove winner.
He was with the Dodgers last year.
Takes pitch outside, 1-2 the count. Hudson came out today, took early batting practice in front of Ron Gardenhire and his staff, and they just wanted to make sure that he could hit left-handed, and that's when they decided to activate him. Hits that one softly to short. Waiting for it is Wilson Valdez, 2 away.
The changeup from Joe Blanton. That's a very effective pitch that he has to have the left-hand hitters, and they got a bunch of left-hand hitters in this lineup.
And a couple of good ones due up now, starting with Joe Mauer.
Watch his changeup kind of just dive down and away, and it really fools Hudson. Hits it right off the end of the bat, and it's a spinning top going out to shortstop.
Joe Mauer, the reigning American League Most Valuable Player, hitting .310 this year with a couple home runs and 28 RBIs. He got off to a torrid start in April. He had .345 in April.
Guy's an unbelievable player, and they were able to lock him into a long-term deal. He's from Minneapolis area, so it was just such a natural.
And a good changeup, and it's 0-2. He signed an 8-year contract extension with the Twins this past spring training. And you see his career batting average, .326.
That's a big catcher right there. Look at the size of it.
No other catchers on that list.
No.
And he rolls over on that one. This is going to be an easy inning for Joe Blanton. He got 3 ground balls to the middle infielders. It's 1-2-3 for Big Joe. We go to the bottom of the first. It's the Twins nothing, and the Phils coming up. To you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Shane Victorino leads it off at center field. Placido Polanco bats second. Chase Utley over at second base. He'll hit third. Ryan Howard is the cleanup batter. Jason Worth is in right field batting fifth. Raul Ibanez is in left. He'll hit sixth. And the bottom third are Carlos Ruiz, Wilson Valdez, and Joe Blanton. And they will face right-hander Nick Blackburn, who has not had a good month of June. And the Phillies are hoping to continue that tonight and maybe get an early lead against Nick Blackburn. 13th start overall, 6-3 with an earned run average just a tick under 5.
Makes his home in Texas now, born in Oklahoma. And I see left-handed hitters hitting .313. As Tom mentioned, he got off to a great start, especially in May. But he doesn't walk a lot of guys, doesn't strike out many. Here's Southwest Airlines scouting report. Likes his sinker and cutter. He is evidently a strike thrower. He comes right after hitters and throws strikes, and he does a very good job, evidently, of controlling the running game if he gets base runners, and he normally gets a lot of base runners, way over hits per innings pitched.
Here's Shane Victorino, who was 3 for 12 of the series against the Yankees, but he had 2 big hits. A 3-run triple and a 2-run home run last night. That 2-run home run last night really loosened things up for the Phillies. They had a 1-0 lead, and it gave them a 3-0 lead. Overall hitting .255 with 11 home runs, and that drops in for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Here's that cutter that he hit off Andy Pettit last night. See Pettit trying to get that ball in on Shane. Left it out over the plate a little bit. Hit a line drive home run, and that gave the Phillies a 3-run lead.
On the inside corner, 1-2. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Carol Chilton of Claymont, Delaware. If the Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, then Carol will win $100. Two and two. Jimmy Rollins, by the way, is scheduled to play again tonight in a rehab start. But Ruben Amaro, who was talking before the ball game, said that he probably needs some more at bats. Maybe in the next couple of days the Phillies will get him back, as Victorino fouls that one off to stay alive. That's the big thing right now, is at bats for Jimmy Rollins, to make sure that he is fresh and his timing is down. And when he comes back, that calf won't bother him anymore, and he'll be here to stay.
Scouting report on him is he has that running fastball that he just threw right there. Likes to start at left-handed hitters, run it over the plate, freeze him, and he just didn't get a call there. That pitch was inside to Shane.
There's ball forward. Victorino draws the leadoff walk.
That's a good job by Shane to walk on this guy, because he don't walk a lot of batters.
Well, Joe Blanton got a 1-2-3 top of the first. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team in order, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity Triple Play. Complete lineup for digital TV, high-speed internet, and home phone. Oh, base runner now for the Phillies as Placido Polanco digs in.
And I mentioned this guy evidently can really hold runners on with his move and other things that he does. Really hard to steal on him.
Polanco has faced Blackburn before because of their time together in the American League Central. Victorino goes on the first pitch, taken for a strike. The throw is short, hopped off the glove of Punto, and the Phillies have carried over the aggressiveness from the series against the Yankees right over to this series.
So they had a note tonight that at 101 2/3 innings, no stolen bases on Nick Blackburn. You can throw that away. Shane got a great jump on him. Whatever they saw on some film, it certainly was there. And he went on that first movement that they must have talked about, and Maurer had no shot.
So that stolen base for Shane, his 13th straight without being caught, 16th overall. And it's no balls and 1 strike to Placido Polanco. The Phillies have a chance to take an early lead again. So a meeting now between Maurer and Nick Blackburn. Well, Ron Gardenhire knew the stat as well, and they just announced it here in the press box. That's the first one since Rajai Davis, who's now with the Oakland A's. Ron Gardenhire, 9th year overall as the Twins manager. 747 victories. Took over for the great Tom Kelly.
An incredibly stable organization for a number of years now, considering they're a small market. Now, as mentioned, they're going to get a little bit better because of their new ballpark. They'll be able to spend more, but they couldn't for a long time.
Chopper left side. Victorino's going to try to cross over. He'll get to third. The throw by Punto didn't have a whole lot on it. One away, and the Phillies have a runner at third with less than 2 outs.
It's a good base running. You know, that's a ball you have to read and react. And even though it was hit to his left shoulder, I mean, it's hit to his left shoulder, so that's when he really wants to go. If it's hit to your right shoulder and hit hard at all, you don't want to. But Shane reads this very well. Right there, that it's a slow hit ball, and there's no way Punto's going to be able to get him at third base if he breaks immediately. He does, and Nick doesn't even think about throwing over there.
So now the Phillies have a runner at third with one man down. It brings Chase Utley to the plate. And the infield is back up the middle. The corners are in halfway. See Chase's numbers over the last 21 games, and he is always a topic of conversation around the Phillies, but he really was today. There was a report on the internet on baseballprospectus.com where Davey Lopes was quoted as saying that Chase has been playing with a sore knee. Well, Chase met with the media today and said he's not injured. He might have some aches and pains, but he doesn't think it's an injury. He says that an injury means you can't play. And he said, I can play. And he said there are times, and Charlie reiterated this, where he's had ice on his knee, he's had ice on his back, he's had ice on his ankle, and he's fine, and he's not going to use that as an excuse as to why he is struggling so much offensively.
And all he's trying to do right now is hit the ball back through the middle of the diamond and get the run home. It'll be a nice run to manufacture here in the first inning on a walk, a stolen base, get him over with a ground ball, and get him in. And as you said, Tom, get a lead again, because they hadn't done much of that for a while.
And get a first inning run, which they haven't done that much in the last month. Inside, 3-1. Ryan Howard waits on deck. Good hitters count for Chase. And he pulls that one, base hit it to right field. Victorino's going to walk home from third, and the Phillies not only have a first inning run, they take a 1-0 lead. It's an RBI for Chase, his 27th of the year. And it just hasn't happened often over the last 3 or 4 weeks that they've gotten a first inning run. It's only the second time in the last 3.5 weeks that they've scored a first inning run.
He gets a sinker out over the plate that stayed up a little bit, and he hooks it. And you know, when Utley was going bad there, as he has been, see Charlie take a look there. And, you know, he'd hit that line drive right at somebody. And right there, he found a hole. And he's been running a little bit lately, too. He's been a little bit frisky out there.
Well, here's Ryan Howard with the Phillies leading at 1-0.
You don't have 3 players on the right side. Everybody's different. Now, Nick Punto's moving a little bit. You see, he walked over there behind second. Now he's moving to the left of second base.
That one's ripped over the glove of Morneau, and it's heading to the corner. Utley's around second, going to third. Sam's waving him home, and the ball gets away from Kubel. The Phillies are going to lead it 2-0, and Howard's going to be at third. That was a bullet.
Yeah, and you got a guy, you know, he's not used to playing the corner here. Kubel, who's a DH a lot for this team. Happens when you get in the National League game, sometimes guys aren't out in the field that much. And that thing ate him alive out there in that corner. And Chase Utley scores easily from first base when it bounced away. Let's see what it does. Tom said that's a bullet right over the glove of Morneau. Now it gets into the corner. It hit. Oh, he slipped too. And there's Sam Perlaza doing the windmill, sending Chase Utley home. And that feel good for Sammy to be able to wave a guy like that.
And he made the decision before Chase was 10 feet from the third base bag that he was waving him home.
Yeah, when he sees that outfielder out there chasing the ball towards the alley, that's a good sign for him.
So the Phillies lead it 2-0.
Here's another look at it. Now watch, it hits there and it just starts scooting along there. That looked like one of those old Olympic Stadium triples in Montreal. Remember those times? They would go down into the corner, they would roll around the corner, and then they'd shoot just along the wall, and guys would get triples out of it.
Well, the Phillies have scored twice here in the first. Over the last 25 games, they had scored just 1 run in the first inning of those games. And now they've got 2 runs here in the bottom of the first. The infield is in for Jason Worth with a runner at third.
Wow. Many managers like to play the infield in the first inning. but they just don't, evidently just don't want to give up a cheapie here.
Outfield is deep for Worth. Span is really deep at center. Down and away, 2 balls and no strikes. Phillies are also making Blackburn work a little bit here in this first. Look where Span is, Wheels, in center field.
Yeah, he's deep, really deep.
In the air to left, towering shot. That should be deep enough to score Howard. Young is over and makes the catch. Ryan's tagging from third. The throw to the plate on one hop, not in time. It's 3-0 Phillies. I guess if you're young, you just let it loose, and that's exactly what he did. That was a pretty good throw.
Real good throw. Effortless. But that's a nice little 3 spot right there for the Phillies, something they have not been able to do. I think Adele, when Young gets behind this, that ball just shoots out of his hand. Ryan Howard, I think, was going to score easily. He really does, but he didn't even expect to be a play on it.
Oh, this is the first time since the 14th of May that the Phillies scored more than 1 run in the first inning of a game.
Good job, too, by Jason Worth here to get the ball airborne with the infield in. That's where you want to hit a fly ball if you can, and he did.
Raul Ibanez takes a pitch for a strike. It's 0-2. That RBI for Jason, by the way, is 41st. 5 RBIs now for Jason over his last 7 games, and slowly but surely. And a called strike 3. Fastball right on the inside part of the plate. Raul doesn't think so. He'll go back and say something to the home plate umpire Todd Tishner. But what a first inning it was for the Phillies. They scored 3 runs in the inning on 2 base hits. They don't strand anybody. We go to the second. It's 3-0 Phils. The last few years from an internet standpoint is MLB.tv. You can subscribe today to see every regular season game live or on demand on your computer. It is a great web tool. Again, it's MLB.tv. Go to Phillies.com for more information. It's where baseball is always on. Top of the second, Justin Morneau will lead it off. He's 5th in the league in hitting at .336. 13 homers, 43 runs batted in. He hasn't had a great June, as we talked about. In fact, he's 1 for his last 19.
Neither Morneau nor Mauer hitting home runs in their new ballpark either. It's amazing. They were talking about, evidently they're alleys hitters.
Sounded like he broke his bat on that one. The one hopper to Valdez.
As opposed to pull guys, and the alleys are pretty deep in that new Target field, and they are having trouble hitting the ball out of that ballpark.
Well, it hasn't hurt them overall. I mean, from an offensive standpoint, the Twins are not the Yankees or the Red Sox when it comes to scoring runs, but they do a lot of the little things
that helps them win games. And Morneau has certainly picked up his fair share of RBIs as Kadire stands in for the first time. And, you know, Mauer hasn't picked up as many RBIs, but he has scored 39, or excuse me, has scored 35 runs.
Charlie Manuel spent a lot of time in the Twins organization as a manager, coach, instructor, all kinds of things. And he has a lot of respect for this Minnesota team. He told us in his pregame show tonight that if you don't think they're going to play for 27 outs, then you're going to lose to them. He says, because that's the kind of team they are. They really battle you.
That one just missed off the outside corner. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, White Sox have taken a 1-0 lead over the Nationals and Steven Strasburg. That game's in the top of the second. Juan Pierre has scored a run. Juan Pierre made an unbelievable catch in last night's victory by the White Sox over the Pirates out in left field. And it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Heard about Strasburg where they can hold runners on. You know, a lot of times guys like that, they're not used to it because they never had any base runners. College, you know, and even in the minor leagues.
Well, he has 3 strikeouts through the first 2 innings, but again, he's allowed a run.
I want to say that because of Juan Pierre, you know, you get the feeling maybe he got on stole on it. Glenn just threw his changeup to a right-handed batter. That's good.
There's Kubel. He waits on deck. Back towards second base. Boy, they're peppering Chase Utley and Wilson Valdez. Ryan applies the tag. I think he may have held on to the bag anyway. 2 outs. Email, text, Twitter, and Facebook 24/7. CSNPhilly.com is your best source for the latest news on Phillies teams. When and where you want it, be the first to know. Text alerts to 53695 or sign up for alerts at CSNPhilly.com. 2 away, and here is Kubel. He had a heck of a homestand. He had 3 home runs on the homestand for the Twins. That finished up yesterday with a loss to Ubaldo Jimenez and the Colorado Rockies. A 9-game hitting streak for Kubel. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. In the air to left center field. I don't think Raul saw it right away, but he found it and he makes the catch. First fly ball out of the night for Joe Blanton. He's faced 6. He's retired all 6. We go to the bottom of the second here in Philadelphia. The Phillies lead it 3-0. Here in Philadelphia beginning Tuesday the 22nd. You can get your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com, and we invite you to log on right now and get those tickets because they are going quick. Phils continue through their interleague schedule. 3 games here against the Twins, and then those 3 games against the Indians, and then 3 more against the Toronto Blue Jays. A nice night here in Philadelphia, and the Phillies have made it even better with a 3-0 lead. And Carlos Ruiz will lead it off. The bottom third is due up.
Hit some balls hard to right center last night, and hopefully he's able to continue, because he's really hit a lot of weak outs trying to pull again. And last night he went with pitches and hit them hard.
His first double that he had ended an 0 for 23 stretch.
And it was a soft over 23. You know, sometimes you'll see a guy, boy, he's hitting in a tough luck. It wasn't for Carlos. He was hitting a lot of easy outs.
2-1 the count to Carlos. Carlos, this past week while we were up in New York, I caught a moment during batting practice where he was standing there talking to Mariano Rivera, fellow countryman from Panama. Thought that was kind of neat, because Mariano Rivera, to a guy like Carlos Ruiz, I mean, he would be a baseball hero.
Oh, yeah. And there aren't that many Panamanians in the major leagues.
Line drive, that's a bullet. And Young makes the grab. So 1 away here in the second.
Well, I got to throw this out here tomorrow. You know, a lot of people have asked me,
what are you doing tomorrow, Wheels?
Since I did that book last year, where are you ever going to go out and sign? Well, I didn't do too many of those, but tomorrow, I do have a book signing tomorrow between 10 and 12.
Would you like us to stop by?
Not you, but thanks for offering. Get enough of you. But thank you. That'd be nice to have you there. Philadelphia Athletics Historical Society, which is on 6 North York Road in Hatboro. Be there from 10 to 12.
10 to 12.
Glad to meet any fans.
Would you like us to bring you anything to eat, any kind of lunch or anything like that?
I would just like you guys to stay away, and I'll see you Sunday.
Here's Wilson Valdez, who loops one to right center. He's going to be aboard with a 1-out single.
But it would always be good to have you there, Tommy. You know what I mean.
I got you.
We got the day off tomorrow. Fox game.
Phillies and the Twins will play here at the ballpark tomorrow and Sunday afternoon.
We'll be back on the air on Sunday.
Speaking of book signings, Doug Glanville has a new book out. He's going to join us later on in the telecast.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Great. What a good man he is.
Did you get your book reviewed in the New York Times?
No.
Doug did the other day.
Well, he should.
Yeah.
He writes for the New York Times. He does op-ed. I've never been asked to do that.
Joe Blanton is going to be up there to try to sacrifice Valdez to first. And a quick throw over. Wilson's back standing. Phillies have already stolen a bag against Blackburn, which hadn't happened in more than 100 innings. And Joe bunted it foul. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Dodgers and Manny Ramirez taking on the Boston Red Sox. Manny making his return to Fenway, and the Red Sox, thanks to a 2-run home run by David Ortiz, have taken a 3-0 lead.
They like to score early on Friday nights up there.
And often.
I can still hear that ball hitting the wall last week.
Joe's not bunting, and he takes a pitch low. It's 1-1.
And Charlie decided last night, he was telling me that when he took that bunt off with Valdez batting, because he saw the mound conference and thought they might rotate, and then he praised his player, Valdez. He said what a great job he did.
Talked to Wilson about that today. He said that he got the bunt sign, and then he looked out again because Sam Palazzo said, no, we're going to wait that off. And here's a bunt up the first base line. It's going to spin foul, and it's 1-2. I said, so you were given the bunt sign, and then they changed it. He goes, yeah, we got the bunt sign, and that goes to what Charlie was saying, that there was a meeting on the mound, so then Charlie changed it. I said, what'd you think? He said, thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, his eyes lit up when Derek Jeter rotated, headed towards third base, and he had all that room to hit the ball through. But as Charlie said, you know, it's one thing to do that, and it's one thing for your player to execute as well as Valdez did, and he really likes this guy. He put a bunt down earlier in the game when they needed one.
1 ball, 2 strikes, the count to Blanton. He's squaring. And a quick toss chases Valdez back to first. By the way, Wheels, just to refresh your memory on the sounds of Fenway Park. That's the ball hitting the Green Monster.
I remember that.
Joe bunts it foul. He's down on strikes. And 2 outs here in the second. So Joe is retired. Not too happy about it.
Well, no, they executed really well in the first inning, and those are the little things in the game right there that may get you a run. And at this point, he wasn't able to advance a runner. And pitchers, one of the things in the National League they really want to be able to do if they can.
Here's Victorino, who walked and scored his first time up. Also got a stolen base. Phillies scored 3 runs in the first. And that one is on the inside corner. And Todd Tishner, he is going to call that inside part of the plate tonight, as we've seen already through the first couple innings.
Blackburn likes to work inside, too.
This umpiring crew, led by Tim McClellan, the third base umpire, they had a little problem last night in Kansas City in that Royals-Astros game. Outside 1-1. There was a play, a ball that was hit towards shortstop, where Jeff Blum was playing for the Astros. And Mike Everett, who is the first base umpire tonight, thought that Blum had caught the ball. So, he ruled it out. Well, it turned out that he didn't catch the ball. As the pitch is taken outside, 2-1. So the Astros contested. They met behind the mound. They changed the call, and they pushed the runners back to their respective bags. And Yuniesky Betancourt, the hitter, was ruled out, even though Blum never made the throw over to first. One of those oddities. Tim McClellan, the crew chief, he's the one that made the ultimate decision. As that pitch is taken low, 3-1.
We won in New York last night where the Yankees left the field on a non-call, and they got it right, but it was really bizarre because the ball had obviously hit the base runner Ibanez. Derek Jeter knew that. They all ran off, but nobody made a call. Talking about that later. Suppose it had been a close game when that happened.
And Raul tried to sell it pretty good. He was hustling all the way. That's a changeup for a strike. It's 3-2. So it was a similar scene out in Kansas City. Ned Yost argued, and then after he was given the right answer, Brad Mills came out and argued for the Astros. Runner goes, pitches inside. Victorino works out his second walk.
Good job by Shane. He took the same pitch, it looked like, almost for ball 4, a little down and in sinker.
So 2 away, and here's Polanco. Polanco grounded out his first time up to Punto at short. On that play, though, Shane Victorino moved over to third, and then ultimately scored on a single by Chase Utley. Boy, they are really making Nick Blackburn work tonight. Back toward the middle. It's going to be a base hit to center field. Valdez is heading for home. Spans throw cut off by Morneau, and the Phillies leading 4-0. They didn't get the butt down, but they did get the run. I think everybody in the ballpark loves Polanco right now. That's his 25th RBI of the year.
Typical Polanco hit, to hit hard towards the middle of the diamond, or maybe the right side. No chance for Orlando Hudson. With 2 outs, Valdez is gone at the crack of the bat. Scores easily. See the ball going right through here because he's playing him over in this way because he hit so many balls to the right side.
The Phillies now with 4 hits against the Twins, including 1 by Valdez with 1 out. And now they've got runners on first and second for Chase, who singled his last time up and drove in a run. The ball's in the dirt, blocked by Mauer.
see Hudson disappear there. He was in charge of keeping the runner Valdez close, but they wanted to move him back towards the hole because Polanco hit so many balls that way. So now all his momentum was going the other way. When he hit it up the middle, he had no chance to get to that.
He saw his reaction too.
Yeah, I was like, man, I'm running all over the place and I'm not near the ball. He's a 2-time Rawlings Gold Glove winner too, is Orlando Hudson.
That one's hit foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. You know what Chase was talking today is Victorino goes back to second and Polanco back to first. Somebody asked him if he thought his hip injury back a couple years ago, if that was an injury, if that could be listed as an injury. He said, well, ultimately, after it was diagnosed, he said, but when he was playing, he didn't think it was an injury. It was just sore. In the air to right field. That's pretty well hit. Kubel going back toward the warning track. It is gone! 3-run home run for Chase Utley. He's got 4 runs batted in.
Well, that just loves meeting with the media, too. I say I do this every day. He just looked at you like, what, are you nuts? He had to do that today because there was a little fuss kicked up. But he's answered pretty well. This thing is down and in. And that's in a bad spot. And see what Gardner, the guy they call Gardy, just toss his gun. He'll go back and reload on that.
He also had Rick Anderson go to the phone before he headed out to the mound. That home run by Chase Utley just won Carol Chilton of Claymont, Delaware, $100, courtesy of the McDonald's home run jackpot.
Boy, those down and in pitches, the left-handed hitters, especially a low ball hitter like Utley, they really jump.
Well, Chase with his 11th home run, 29 runs batted in. Jesse Crain is up and throwing in the pen for the Twins.
Kidding me, 7 runs in 2 innings, 2 crooked numbers. This was maybe a week's worth, the way things were going.
This is pretty impressive. They had one stretch where they had scored 9 runs in 11 games.
Yeah.
And they've got 7 in 2 innings tonight. And they're just pacing right now in the Twins dugout.
Well, Blackburn had such a good month of May. 5-0 with a 2.65 earned run average, 0-2 with an 8, and that's climbing here in this month of June.
Ryan Howard sends one in the air deep to right field. Forget about that one. Back to back with Chase Utley for the 2nd time this week. The Phillies have got back to back.
Jim Thome looking on. He had a few like that in his yard. Said Tom, back-to-back, 2nd time. They hadn't done it all year. They didn't work the other night. A breaking ball. Where was that thing? Down. Left-handed hitter. Ball down. And he just golfs it out of here.
12th home run of the year for Ryan. 48 RBIs now.
Guess the offense is alive, huh?
Well, they said the last couple of days that they were getting there, and maybe they have gotten there. 2-0 the count to Jason Worth. The Blackbirds, I would have to think he's just about done.
Well, you can tell he throws strikes. He's a little bit of a nibbler, but in this game he's just not sharp. Victorino's done a very good job in this game of walking twice on 3-2 counts and helping the table set. And now they're mashing him a little bit.
3-0 the count. Jason, sac fly his first time up. Drove at his 41st run. There's Ibanez waiting on deck. And ball 4. Jason's aboard. The Phillies have batted around here in the 2nd inning. Ron Gardenhire just asked Rick Anderson, is he ready? If he's ready, you would think that Gardenhire's coming out. Here he comes. So Jesse Crain is going to be the new pitcher. 2nd trip to the mound for the Twins in this inning. Now the Phillies have sent the opposing starter to the showers very early here in this opener of this 3-game series. This is our AT&T call to the bullpen. Why does this call have to be made? Well, the Phillies have gone long distance a couple different times in this inning against Nick Blackburn. The first time it was Chase Utley, a 3-run bomb. The second time, well, it was the big man. For 2, 4 RBIs, 2 runs scored, a home run. Ryan Howard, well, he's also 2 for 2, a triple, a home run, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. The night has not gone as well for Nick Blackburn. An inning in 2/3, 6 hits and 8 runs, and Jason Worth is his responsibility. Most earned runs he's allowed this year, and he just wasn't sharp, and now he'll hand things over to his bullpen. First, Jesse Crane, 28th game for Crane. He's a hard-throwing right-hander who's got a good slider. And the Twins are going to look to him to maybe eat up some innings here tonight.
Friday night fireworks with the Phillies. This time last week, there's Blackburn. They're losing 9-0 after 2. This Friday, they're winning 8-0 in the second inning.
And the Twins manager, Ron Gardenhire, is stewed right now. Wasn't all too pleased with what he saw from Nick Blackburn tonight.
Well, nothing worse than, well, say nothing worse. One of the worst things when your starter gets blown out early.
Here's Ibanez, who hits the first pitch foul, and it's 0-1. Raul struck out looking his first time.
Doesn't mean you can't come back, but it just, everybody just sinks emotionally when that happens.
Red Sox in the first inning last week against the Phillies on Friday night led it 5-0 after the first inning. They had 4 extra base hits in that first inning.
A lot of doubles.
0-2 the count to Ibanez. Meanwhile, the Phillies, well, the first 2 innings here tonight, they lead it 8-0. And they have 3 extra base hits, including 1 by Chase Utley. That's pretty good production right there from 2, 3, and 4. Probably throw Jason in there too with a sac fly and an RBI and a walk.
And put Victorino in there for 2 walks at the top of the order. That's not his game to walk as a leadoff guy. I mean, that's just not the way Shane does things. He walked twice tonight. He's very patient. Took a lot of pitches, close pitches, got on twice, scored twice.
1-2 the count to Ibanez. And a swing and a foul tip into the glove of Mauer, and Raul is down on strikes for the second time. The Phillies bat around here in the second inning. They wind up scoring 5 runs, hit a couple home runs against Nick Blackburn. answer on the subject line. Wheels, the question is, who is the only Twin ever to have 2 6-hit games?
That's not what it says on there.
That's not what it says on there.
Just what you know, I'm paying attention.
All right, well, but part 2 of the question was the one you just saw up there.
Well, now this is very confusing.
We're going to do an offensive and a pitching question. No, actually, I'm reading the wrong question.
Good.
The one on the screen. The one on the screen is the correct one.
May we see that again then, since I was confused?
Valdez, another chance, and another out.
I mean, it's for the fans. It's not for me.
There it is. Can you name the former Philly who threw a no-hitter as a Minnesota Twin?
Yeah, I think I can.
And just so you know, fans, who is the only Twin ever to have 2 6-hit games? We might use that later on this weekend. So just be prepared.
Well, it's got to be Sunday.
Well, maybe we'll use it at your book signing.
When you got guys like Rod Carew and Tony Olivo around, you know.
Just saying, you might hear it again.
Yeah, those guys had chances to get 6 hits.
Here's former Phil, Nick Punto. Boy, he's had himself a pretty good career with the Twins, hasn't he?
Yeah. Always thought he'd be a good little extra man and maybe work his way into, an everyday player, but he wasn't going to happen here because of Rollins and Utley.
See what he's done this season. He's played third, he's played short, he's played second. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike to him.
And Nick's really versatile. He can run. He's had quite a few injuries in his career over there with Minnesota, but when he's healthy, he can really help a team. You'll see him hit a golf ball. Oof.
I used to love watching him interact with John Vukovic. He was funny with Vuk.
Yeah. Vuk had one of his typical love-hate relationships with Nick.
Outside, ball 4, and Punto's aboard with a 1-out walk. First base runner of the night allowed by Blanton. And here is Jesse Crain. Crain does not have an at-bat this year, because the Twins are playing in a National League city for the first time. And Blanton misses the first pitch. It's 1-0.
Yeah, this is one of the things that is a disadvantage for American League team. He has Major League experience of 5 years plus, and he has to pitch some innings right.
You know what that tells us, Wheels, when we put that kind of stuff up there? He hasn't had a Major League at bat.
Right. Right, we're just trying to throw some other numbers up there.
Pops it up to the right of home plate. Back near the screen. Ruiz runs out of room. Man, it's 1-2. Folks are going to be looking at that ball for the rest of the night, wondering, we're going to be able to get that? So he went back behind that handicap elevator.
This guy stands pretty far off the plate. You want to stay away.
And a swing and a miss, and they're 2 away. First strikeout for Blanton. So Crain is retired. Look at Jim Tobey just looking at Jesse Crain as he walked down the stairs in the dugout.
That was a lot of fun for you, wasn't it?
Hey, big boy, I have over 500 home runs.
And I've also done that a few times, what you just did.
There's Big Jim.
Sitting in Charlie's office, and the phone rang. Kevin Gregg from the Phillies publicity department was on the. He must have handed the phone to Jim, because I heard Charlie go, "Yeah, Tom." Says, "I'll be right out." So Charlie went out to hang out with the guy who calls him Daddy. Jim told me, says he owes his career really to Charlie Manuel.
And Charlie was a minor league coach for the Cleveland Indians. See what Jim did with the Phillies. 96 home runs. 1-2 the count to Span, who grounded out to second his first time up. And Jim was a minor leaguer with the Indians. Charlie was in their farm system as a coach and a manager, and did an awful lot to help Jim's swing.
Couldn't pull the ball. You know, he hit everything the other way. He didn't have a whole lot of power. And Charlie just saw some things in him that he really thought were special, and he was right.
And if Charlie ever talks about him, if you ever get him talk about him, his face lights up when he talks about Jim Thome.
Yeah, it's one of his favorites.
1-2 pitch, and it's a foul, and the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, Jim Thome with 334 career home runs as a member of the Indians. Also with those 96 here with the Phillies. His 400th home run came in a Phillies uniform here at this ballpark. Played for the White Sox, the Dodgers last year, and now the Minnesota Twins. I think one of the great things would be if he can get to 600 home runs.
Alex Rodriguez is getting close.
Yep. 3-2 the count, so the runner will be off on this pitch.
He's planning to keep counting the strike zone now with an 8-0 lead. He walked 1 batter in this inning. Now deep count. Ryan Howard reminding him he's going to play off.
Orlando Hudson waits on deck. Runner goes, pitches pulled toward the hole on the right side. Utley dives, he's got it to his feet, and it's in time to get him. Well, he looked pretty healthy on that play. Chase Utley going all out to get the final out here at the top of the 3rd. That's an unbelievable defensive play. Joe Blanton appreciated it, so did the your bag, it's on. And by Toyota. Toyota's national sales event is going on now. Hurry into your Toyota dealer today. Well, the sounds of Philadelphia here at Citizens Bank Park. That's the celebration tonight. 7th annual Phillies Sound of Philadelphia celebration. Bunny Sigler singing the national anthem before the start of the ball game. A stirring rendition of the national anthem, as Carlos Ruiz leads it off here in the bottom of the 3rd. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Ruiz. Carlos hit the ball hard his first time up. He lined out to left, so he's 0 for 1. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. How about this play by Chase Utley to finish off this inning? Not only that, he got to his feet and was able to throw out a very fast runner. Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. I always remember one of the first conversations I had with Chase about his style of play. And, he said he never wanted to think back over the course of a game about a ball that he could have gotten if he would have dove for it. He would have left his feet, or if he would have hustled all the way up the first base line.
Right, and there's a time to dive and a time not to dive too, because there are some guys that dive at balls that they really can't get to, and all they do is deflect them and turn them into doubles. And there are infielders over the years that have to be told that, hey, don't dive at that ball. It may look good, and the fans, hey, yeah, great play and all that. It's a double. You can't do anything with that thing. Leave it alone. And he knows when to dive and when not to.
2-2 the count to Ruiz. And a pop-up. Shallow right field. Orlando Hudson going back. Coming on is Kubel. And he makes the catch. And one away. Well, if you can't make it to Wheels' book signing tomorrow, maybe you can make it to the Fanatics book signing. That's right, the Philly Fanatics Galapagos Islands Adventure. It'll be the 30th of June at the Neshaminy Mall. The Fanatic will be there from 7 until 8. There'll be a signing from 8 till 9. Philly ball girls will be there, special door prizes, and illustrator Len Epstein will be on hand. For more information, see Phillies.com. Here's Valdez, and he takes a fastball low. It's 1-0. Valdez started the rally for the Phillies in the second, 5-run rally, with a single to right center. Oh, that ball hit him. And right on the hand as he's looking at it, and he'll go to first.
Mark Anderson ready to come out if he needs him. Phil's trainer.
I think Wilson Valdez thought the home plate umpire, Todd Tishner, said the ball hit the bat.
Yeah, he knew it hit his hand.
Oh, that's got hurt.
Yeah. Trying to get it out of the way. That thing was running in on him.
So Valdez, sore hand at all, is over at first with 1 out. And here's Joe Blanton. Joe chops the first pitch to first. 1-0 to second for 1. That's a pretty impressive double play. 3-6-1. Crane was over covering, and the inning comes to a close. No runs, no hits, nobody left. We've completed 3. We head to the 4th here in Philly with the Phils up 8-0. Lone Toyota right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Oh, Gary Matthews joins us as we go to the top of the 4th inning. And Sarge, I'm not sure if you were around or if you saw it, but Phillies scored some runs in the first inning and the second inning.
Got their hitting shoes on, and Chase swinging the bat the way that he should swing the bat and hitting the ball hard, not necessarily hitting it out of the ballpark, but I think he's getting a little bit tired of people talking about the injury, so he's going to answer those questions he has so far tonight.
Well, you know, you think about Chase and this whole injury question. He hasn't had a Chase Utley kind of year. So, you know, people have brought up the injury question because they're wondering, you know, why hasn't he hit? But you and I were talking today. You brought up a great point that, you know, everybody goes through slumps. Doesn't matter who you are.
Mays would say that all the time. Everybody is going to go through slumps. Could be prolonged slumps, but it's up to the individual to do things to get out of it, and that means working.
Well, and Chase, no doubt, will work as hard, if not harder than most, to try to get himself out of it. And he's been saying over the last couple of days that he felt a little bit better. And I think it was he's already shown that that's happening here tonight, not only offensively, but also defensively.
Well, he's getting a lot better at that defense.
Joe Blanton takes care of Orlando Hudson to begin the first. 1 out.
Big Joe Blanton on his game tonight there. Evident of all the ground balls that he's getting. He's getting those ground balls there. And 8 right now, you know he's doing a good job. 6'3", 4'3". Not squaring the ball up so far tonight. The Minnesota Twins, and that's what he wants.
Here's Joe Mauer, who was one of those ground ball outs his first time up. He grounded out to Chase Utley. And there's a fastball for a strike. It's 0-1. Mauer, 27 years old. So we sent a 3-time American League batting champion, including last year when he won the MVP. He was the first American League catcher ever to win a batting title. But to win 3 as a catcher is, boy, it's unprecedented.
Shows you what a solid hitter that he is. And when you hit like that, guess what? That means you've been hitting all your life. So it's nothing new to him to come and hit. Usually those kind of guys, they hit from high school, college, major leagues. Doesn't matter where they go. They just seem to hit.
Well, overall, in the history of the Minnesota Twins, they have had 17 different batting champions. That's a lot.
Ooh.
Back to the mound. Nice play by Blanton. And he'll take care of Mauer, so he's taking care of Hudson and now Mauer for 2 outs here in the 4th. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Marlins lead the Rays 7-2 in the bottom of the 2nd. Mike Stanton, his first Major League home run, and it's a grand slam. The Rays had lost 2 of 3 to the Braves, and now they're losing 7-2 to the Marlins. Swing and a miss by Morneau, and it's 0-1.
Great pitch. Breaking ball. He's been throwing a lot of sinkers first pitch and changing it up a little bit. Different for me tonight for Joe Blanton is the movement that he's getting and aggressive in the zone.
That one's a little low, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Morneau. Morneau grounded out to shortstop his first time up. And Michael Goodire waits on deck. Off the outside corner, second walk issued by Blanton tonight. So Joe is not allowed a hit, but he's walked 2. We said this is a busy time here at Citizens Bank Park with interleague play, not only this weekend, but also this week against the Indians and next weekend against the Toronto Blue Jays. 3-game series, 7:05, 4:05, and 1:35. In that series, those uniform colors will be the way the players will wear them. Blue Jays will be the home team here at the ballpark. You can get your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. There's some great seats still available for that 3-game series, so take advantage of it. Michael Kadire grounded out to Utley his first time up. And he hits that one hard but foul, and it's 0-2. Oh, that is a sharp-looking lid that Eggy's wearing down there in the camera on the third base side. That misses outside. 1-2, pretty close pitch. Rich has got it on as well. Boy, they must have been giving that hat out to all of our camera operators tonight.
You got to know somebody to get those caps on. That will be our Father's Day cap here.
Attaboy, Greg. Looking
Sunday.
Good. Behind the bag, Polanco short way to second. In time to get Morneau. Another ground out. That's right, Sunday, Father's Day here at the ballpark. That giveaway right there, it's the Sarge cap that'll be given out to all dads. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Coming up, it'll be the top of the order. Shane Victorino plus. In the first, 5 in the second. They did all this because they knew Doug Glanville was in town. Doug, it's nice to see you, buddy.
Hey, all right, Tom. Great to be here.
Got two pretty good outfielders right here. Got Doug covering center field. Sarge will cover part of left field.
Thanks.
And both authors now, because Doug has a new book out, and he has been promoting that new book, and he got a great review from Jonathan Mayo in the New York Times, which was outstanding.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, it took a good year just putting it together, and I feel like it tells the whole story of inside look in the game. It's really a passion of mine.
Well, there's the book, The Game from Where I Stand, a ball player's inside view by Doug, and it's available now. And one of the great things that Jonathan wrote about the book was just, and not that I never thought it wouldn't be this way, but how well written it was. I mean, that must have made you feel pretty good.
Made me feel well. I mean, I had wonderful English teachers, so all you kids out there, it matters. So I learned a lot about how to write, and it translated to this book, and certainly I had the experience of playing a long life in baseball, so it all came together.
Shane Victorino limping back to the dugout, and he's walking with Mark Anderson, with the Phillies athletic trainers, back to the clubhouse. Hopefully that's nothing serious. Here's Placido Polanco. Well, Sarge, you said you wrote a book, so you know what Doug went through writing that book. And let's watch Victorino, and right there, before he hit the bag, it looked like he may have hurt something.
Yeah, those fast runners, they can tell when they pull something. Doug can testify to that.
The ball is down the right field line. It is a foul ball.
Yeah, I think it's tough, Victorino leading off, just getting into that rhythm. That's a lot of wear and tear on the body when you're starting off the game every day. It's tough.
Well, it's you did it for so many years that you know what it's all like.
I certainly know. Something's tweaking on you every day.
Isn't that the truth there for sure? Cal Ripken had said something great about your book. Peter Gammons as well said that it was brilliant, as a matter of fact. So with a Hall of Famer, and certainly, Peter, he's well respected in the league for sure, working with Major League Baseball now. that those kind of guys they know what they're talking about for sure.
Yeah, it was certainly an honor to get those type of responses. I mean, really, it just tells the story, really a human story of the game. I mean, it's one thing to play the game and celebrate the glory moments, but, you go through things like my father was sick for 3 years, and I dedicated this book to him. All the things that, we went through as a family. I talk about getting traded in the middle of the night, or what happens in the family room, and when you're leaving town, and all of a sudden you pull your kids out of school. I mean, so this is something that everybody can relate to. It's very personal, but it's also universal.
Chase Utley is the batter with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Chase has had a heck of a night. 4 RBIs, including a home run and an RBI single.
How about when you're traded for the first time? And I know I've gone through that. Actually, I was in that first free agent crop, so I left first. But when you're with the team, it's almost like your heart is broken when they trade you, or like you feel almost kind of worthless. But then you get to where you want to atone yourself and make sure when you play that team that they understand what the problem was, or you're going to go out and do whatever you can to beat that team.
Oh, yeah, I put a foot on the Cubs ever since when they traded me, no doubt about it. And, they got me 2 days before Christmas, and they were like, oh, sorry about it, you're out of here. But what did hurt is I came up through the system in the Cubs, so I kind of felt like I finally overcame and made it, and they should give me a shot. And they were like, see you later. And growing up as an 80s baseball fan, I saw players stay in the same place.
Right.
Gary Maddox, these guys were, okay, so I thought I was supposed to be where I was for my whole career. So that was a little shocking as a young player, but then being wanted and not wanted in the same transaction, Phillies wanted me, so I had to start seeing the grass is greener and take advantage of it.
What was the easiest and hardest thing about writing the book?
The easiest is that I had so much fun calling the guys and saying, hey, here's the story, what do you think? And fact-checking. I actually had a lot of fun doing it. I think the tough part is a lot of edits. You're going back and like, well, maybe we should change this word. There's like the legal review, make sure you're not going to get sued for something. So, we had to go back and get into the details. But, in the end, I really enjoyed the process. I'm actually kicking around another proposal at some point. But I think I'm really happy with how it ended up.
1-2 the count to Chase Utley. Is there one thing about it that you look back now and say, I really like how that came out?
I liked, talking about relationships in the game and just talking about, the dating scene. I thought that was fun. How hard it is, and then you try to upgrade, and I'm going to date supermodels. Now I can do that. So I had a lot of fun with that.
Well, Doug, we wish you nothing but the best. It's always great talking to you. You look great.
Thanks,
and we'll look forward to seeing the book in the Delaware Valley and seeing some books. Oh, those hats are popping up everywhere. Mike Miller never looked so good, buddy. That looked really sharp up there. Pete's up here in the booth. He's got one. He's got it on backwards, so the P is showing.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Sarge look.
We gave different couple styles the way you can wear it. Wear it the way you want to. But again, might want to get here early there on Sunday. probably going to go pretty quick. I've already saved some for you, though, Tom.
Well, now, I appreciate that. In all seriousness, as Kubel leads things off for the Twins, it's a great giveaway.
Oh, boy, I'm really delighted about that. I'm happy about that. Even I'm going to wear that hat, and I think we'll probably wear red that day on Sunday.
Kubel smokes one. High in the air to right center field. It's deep. Victorino on the run into the alleyway, and it's off the base of the wall. First hit of the night for the Twins. Victorino trying to track it down. Kubel's being waved home. Here's the throw by Chase Utley to the plate on the fly. Scooped up by Ruiz. He's out! It didn't start out beautifully. This ball eludes Victorino, and then he drops it after limping after it. The throw by Chase Utley was in the general vicinity, and what a play by Ruiz.
He's been doing that, and he likes to be able to get those. Look at that pick that he ended up picking him, and then that's a short hop that he ended up getting him on that.
Mike Everett rotating. They just put Chase Utley up on the big screen here at the ballpark. That's where you hear that extra round of applause from this sold-out crowd. That one's back toward the middle. Chase gets to it. Backhands, throws off balance, not in time. Second hit of the inning and the game for the Twins.
Chase Utley playing like a man possessed. No, not a good play either by third base coach there. You can see Chase kind of fumbling with that ball there, saying Victorino, but Chase, he throws that ball, short hops it. Give credit there to Ruiz. Look at that play as he short hops it and tags him out almost at the same time. See him coming around now. You can only go as he's getting tired. You only want to go if you can come in standing up. And he almost, well, he went down because he was out of gas.
Well, that was exciting. Victorino was really limping after that ball in center field. Nick Puto is the batter with the runner at first. And he takes a fastball for a strike. It's 0-2. It is so hard for a catcher to make that play, to scoop that ball up the way Ruiz did. Glove's just not made for that, Sarge.
No, and not only that, though, you don't know if he's going to come in and drill you. You know, if he's going to slide. But you could see him running out of gas as he hit third base.
Jim Tomey's waiting on deck. That one's in the air to right, not deep. Jason Worth backpedals, and he makes the catch. 2 away. Phillies baseball is brought to you by your participating Philadelphia area Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDealer.com. By WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for amazingly low office product prices? By Xfinity. It's TV, phone, and internet reinvented from Comcast. And by Suzuki and the amazing Kazashi Sports Sedan. A round of applause for Jim Thome. Boy, was he a fan favorite here in Philadelphia. Folks wonder where this turnaround of this Phillies franchise began. Well, it began with the arrival of Jimmy Rollins and Pat Burrow and guys like that. But it was certainly helped along by Jim Thome during his years in Philadelphia, because he helped bridge this franchise from the vet to Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, well, veteran player, very respected in the league, power hitter, legit power hitter.
569 career home runs.
This guy likes to talk a lot of hitting.
See where he stands among active home run hitters. Alex Rodriguez is going to become the 7th to reach 600 home runs. Jim Thome is hoping that he could be the 8th or 9th, depending on the race between he and Manny Ramirez. There's a foul ball that moves the count to 2-2.
They're doing a lot of DHing now, so it should at least let him play another year or two. I would think, playing in the field, he ended up hurting his back quite a bit and not able to get it back because of injury.
Looks like he's in great shape, too. 3-2 the count. Young not being held on by Ryan Howard over at first. He'll go. And the pitch is high, ball 4. So the Twins have runners on first and second. And back to the top of the order for Denard Span, who is 0-2. He's grounded out twice. Opposite way, Ibanez on the run, and he's going to run out of room. And it's no balls and 1 strike.
You can see how important defense is in a game, and especially with a pitcher that throws ground balls. You make the plays, and he's aggressive. It just makes everybody's work a little bit easier. Victorino, even though he couldn't pick the handle up on him, still got him going home. So still good defense.
Line drive caught by Ryan Howard, and the inning is over. Boy, another good inning for the Phils defensively and for Joe Blent. He allows his first 2 hits of the inning. This was the first one.
Tim McCullough, that's right there on your picture there. Runner keeps going out. First base umpire coming in. Mike Everett, he's making the call at home plate. And there again, all bases are covered. Good job there by the umpires as they end up going from base to base.
Yeah, they all have responsibilities. It's kind of odd to see it, but they knew exactly where they needed to be. And Adrian Johnson, the second base umpire, was even out in shallow right center, making sure that he saw the play happening in the outfield.
Yeah, he's got to go out to make sure that ball is a home run or not a home run to be able to tell.
And I guess that's what triggers it, Sarge, is that he has to go out to see if the ball is caught, if it's a home run, if there's interference, all those kind of things.
Yeah, once he goes out, Tim McCullough, third base umpire, has to go to second to make that call. Well, you have nobody at third base. That's when your home plate umpire goes to third to make his particular play.
There's Tim McClellan, the crew chief of this umpiring crew. And home plate umpire Todd Tishner. who was up the third base line in that play.
Yeah, at the end of the game, umpires will go in and talk about the different plays that happened during the game for them.
Ron Mayhey's the new pitcher for the Twins, and he's greeted by Ryan Howard, who smokes one to straightaway center. It's his second home run of the night.
Wow. Well, you kind of knew it was going to happen. These guys weren't going to just stay in a slump the whole season. And the opposition, believe me, were just hoping that they could catch them when they're still swinging the bats the way they had the last month and a half. Look at that ball. See you later. As he drives that ball, there's a familiar swing as he goes into this little home run trot. Straightaway center field tells you that he's starting to really come.
13 home runs now for Ryan. 2 tonight. You saw it's his first 2 home run game since last year. And here's Jason Worth. It's 9-0 Phillies. Charlie changed the spot in that dugout. He's been on the stair, the bottom stair, for this entire game, and I can't imagine he's going to move.
No, and too, when Ryan Howard is hitting, he realizes almost no one on the team has to hit. That's how powerful this player is. And then when they're all hitting, almost impossible to beat. We've seen what happens when they don't hit.
8 runs scored for the first 4 hitters in this lineup for the Phillies. Opposite way, that's another base hit. Jason's aboard. That's his first hit of the night, but for the Phillies, that is his 8th. That is their 8th hit in this game. You see Mayhey's numbers this year. This is his 20th game. His ERA is rising, 4.42. And Ryan Howard greeted him rather rudely, but in a good way for the Phillies, with a solo home run. And some of these numbers for the Phillies are piling up, and it's good to see because we could put some numbers to bed, like the runs in the first inning. It's only the second time in their last 25 games they scored a run in the first inning. These crooked numbers that they've popped up, the fact that they have 3 home runs tonight, haven't done that in a little while.
Yeah, and again, look at the pitch selection. Look where the pitchers are. The guys are hitting.
Outside, 1-1 to Ibanez.
No, it's no secret when you're in a slump, you're swinging at bad pitches and taking good ones.
Hope that carries over for Ryan from tonight till tomorrow through the weekend. That one's into the air towards straightaway center field. Span on the run again. He's going to get to this one as he makes the catch on the warning track. Back to first goes Worth.
Well, Ryan's key for sure. Just pitch selection. When he gets a ball where he hammers it or hits it hard, it can go out of any ballpark in the league. That's just how strong he is. And the offense has just been clicking. And you see Victorino, no hits, but actually starting it off, those base on balls are big and always runs scored for the leadoff hitter. So something coming through big today.
Carlos has hit the ball hard twice. He's 0-2. Phillies lead it 9-0 here in the bottom of the 5th. Ron Mayhey, one of the real good guys in the game, began his major league career as a center fielder for the Boston Red Sox. That's when he made his major league debut against the Seattle Mariners. line drive by Ruiz to left. That's going to drop in front of Young. A base hit. Now the Phillies have blasted 3 home runs tonight. 2 by Ryan Howard, 1 by Chase Utley. So that means that Chase and Ryan have been safe at home plate. That's right, safe and secure, thanks to New York Life. And that ball has been safe and secure on the barrel of their bats. 2 on, 1 out. Ryan sits and watches as Wilson Valdez will get a chance to bat. Just think about the Q&A that Chase had today. And he doesn't like talking about himself.
Oh, obviously.
Good or bad?
No, not at all.
And to come out tonight and to put this kind of night up there, and all the questions, and it's only one night, but all the questions have surrounded whether he's healthy or not. Boy, that's a heck of an answer.
Well, the reason most of the people feel that way because they're so accustomed of Chase hitting the ball and with a high average.
2-0 to Valdez.
So when it isn't that way, they feel that something has to be wrong. But you just can't have a great year. You're not going to just do the same thing every year. You hope that it averages out where you're going to be somewhere close to your career stats or maybe even above. These guys have a lot of pride, and you know, over the 3 weeks, obviously it was tested with the way that they were losing and getting pretty good pitching for the most part. A lot more games I think they could have won just by doing some little things. You got to get on first base first. Just didn't do that.
Well, tonight, everybody watching from their seats here at Citizens Bank Park, they've watched him do a lot of good things. 3-1 pitch to Valdez, chopped towards second. Hudson's got it, goes to second for 1. Punto hurries the throw in time to get Valdez, and the inning is over. So it's the second double play ball that the Phillies have hit into as Wilson Valdez is retired. 4-6-3. Phil's nightly, and they're brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. Well, the sounds of Philadelphia celebration. The Floozy and the Fanatic being serenaded by Billy Paul. And the Fanatic was really buying into this whole setting, Sarge, until there.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Billy Paul out singing. You got to like that hat he has on.
That could be from the Sarge collection.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Let me tell you.
We go to the top of the 6th inning. Orlando Hudson leads it off against Joe Blanton. Hudson tonight is 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice.
Well, I tell you, this can't be fun at the old ballpark. Boy, I tell you, it's unbelievable.
Well, a 9-0 lead makes it even more fun.
Oh, yeah, that means you can talk about everything. Billy Paul. I like that because I referenced that to some of the pitchers that I used to face. Left-handed, of course. We got a thing going on, you know.
How'd they react to that?
The only time you brag is when you're in the clubhouse. You don't do that and let them know that. That's more with your teammates.
Paul didn't come back to the liking of Todd Tishner, so it's 2-2. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Steven Strasburg has 10 strikeouts. But the White Sox lead the Nationals 1-0 thanks to a Juan Pierre run in the first. He's only allowed 3 hits. He has 32 strikeouts in his first 3 games. And wouldn't you know it? It is a record. A Major League Baseball record.
You can just get ready because there's going to be a lot of those pitching records that are going to start to fall if this kid can stay healthy.
Hudson fouls another one back.
Strasburg had said earlier that he wanted to give these major league hitters something that they've never seen before. And he's certainly living up to that. The hard breaking ball, change up at 91.
Well, Joe Blanton's fallen behind 3-2. Along with Gary Matthews, I'm Tom McCarthy, live from Citizens Bank Park. A sold-out crowd of more than 45,000 on a beautiful night for baseball. The Phillies leading at 9-0, and Joe Blanton throwing a lot of ground ball outs tonight. And there's one away here in the 6th. Tonight is the 72nd consecutive sellout here at Citizens Bank Park. And look at that skyline. I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous. And there is not a seat to be had. Center City is still all aglow. And as we are heading toward the longest day of the year. Mauer pulls it on the first pitch into right field, a base hit.
Boy, this guy has quick hands inside. He pulls that ball. And again, we talk about it. Longer that you can wait, better hitter that you're going to be. But you got to have quick hands, though, to be able to wait. We'll take a look at classic swing. Foot down. He drives that ball. Foot down again, and extension that he's getting. Classic swing.
Well, here's Morneau, who walked his last time up, grounded out to shortstop his first time at the plate. He's 0 for 1. Morneau has at least 20 home runs in each of his last 5 years. And overall, 176 career homers. And a good changeup by Blanton. He established that early tonight. And he's taking it into the 6th inning.
Now, when he's aggressive with his fastball, that changeup will work even more. Big Joe Blanton's been around the plate here tonight.
Left side, Polanco off his glove. One of the few things that has not gone the way of the Phils in tonight's ball game. As Mauer goes over to third, runners on first and third. And that is Morneau's first hit of the night.
Game of inches very well. Could have been a double play ball just off the edge of the glove on Polanco as he's going out. See how he reaches out there? Just not able to get there. One more step and he would have actually had it off the end. Morneau doing a good job as he goes on into third base. Now, this Minnesota club is a club that they don't give up. You know, they hustle throughout the game.
Michael Cuddier's the batter. Cuddier's 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. One's to second, the other one a fielder's choice to third. He's got 2 runners aboard. He lines one, a base hit to left field. There goes the shutout for Joe Blanton. 3 straight hits for the Twins as Mauer crosses the plate. It's now a 9-1 game. So Mauer's being congratulated in the dugout. Rich Dubie's going out to the mound. Might sound strange, but Joe has lasted 5 innings and 4 innings in his last couple of starts. He's heading toward 100 pitches here in the 6th. I mean, he might be getting a little tired.
Well, could be. Rich Dubie out just to give him a little bit of breather. Again, though, having these runs would settle a pitcher down where he knows if he makes a mistake, he still won't give up the lead, although he has 3 base hits, needs another ground ball, and hopefully get out with a double play.
Chad Durbin's loosening up for the bullpen. The Atlanta Braves, who are winning tonight over the Kansas City Royals, they'll be here in Philadelphia Monday, July 5th at 7:05 to kick off a 3-game series. It wraps up on the 7th at 7:05. Don't forget that Monday is a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. It's the next one here at the ballpark. Big series against the Braves. The Phillies 3.5 games back behind Atlanta as play begins tonight. And Blanton delivers a strike on the outside corner to Kubel, who tripled and was thrown out trying to stretch it into an inside the park home run his last time up. Back-to-back pitches in the same spot.
A good pitch would be another pitch, same spot, maybe just a little bit further away, maybe a little down. See if he'll chase.
He lets it go, and it's 1-2.
It's a good pitch.
Footer, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's another good thing why the fans like that interleague play. You get a chance to see stars in the other league, and particularly this ball club here, who's been pretty steady over the last 4 or 5 years in terms of winning. They do things a little bit differently than most.
Line drive, one hop, knocked down by Valdez. There's one, bareheaded by Utley. There's 2.
Wow.
Well, the ball is bouncing every which way. It's a 6-4-3 double play. Joe Blanton like that. Wilson Valdez just trying to keep it in front of him. It took a nice bounce right into his paw. He flips it to second for 1, and there's the double play. Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now. By the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Must be 18 or older to play. Please play responsibly. And by the Quality Plus Ford dealers. Last of the 6. Phillies lead at 9-1. Hoping to gain some ground here in the National League East. It's going really well here in Philadelphia. Not going as well for the Phillies down in Atlanta or up in New York. Joe Blanton, though, he's enjoying an 8-run lead, and he will bat against Brian Dunsing, the new pitcher for the Minnesota Twins. 4th pitcher used by Ron Gardenhire. And Dunsing delivers one outside. It's 1-0. Ron Mayhay allowed a run on 3 hits in 1 inning of work, and this is the 27th game for Dunsing. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, says the home plate umpire Todd Tishner. Back to the box. Dunsing will take care of Blanton. And there's one away. So back to the top of the order. Here's Shane Victorino. 2 runs scored, 2 walks tonight, and a ground out. Sarge, you were mentioning before how good it is for the fans to see some of the stars in the other leagues, whether it be the Phillies fans seeing Joe Mauer, Justin Morneau, guys like that, or the Twins fans watching back in Minnesota, or even coming to Philadelphia for the weekend to see this Phillies team as Rich Doobie and Joe Blanton confer in the dugout. A guy like Rich Doobie and some of the other coaches interleague play against a team that they're not used to seeing, whether it be as a natural rival each year or in spring training. That can be kind of difficult.
Yeah, it can be, but with all the different videos that the guys have and tapes on pitchers and all the games, you get a pretty good idea of exactly what the guy throws.
Line drive for Victorino down the left field line, and it's foul.
Well, it's not like you have faced that particular pitcher before. In spring training doesn't count because they're working on different pitches. It might be trying to get a change up or work on the breaking ball.
Victorino pulls that one, and it scoots right to Punto. And he throws him out for out number 2. Well, it's time now for a Coors Light Freeze Cam. We mentioned on Sunday it's the Sarge giveaway. That's right. All dads coming to the ballpark will receive that Sarge cap. And different looks from our camera guys. How they would wear it. That would be the way that Sarge would normally wear it. The traditional look would be, traditional look would be like that. I mean, I said Sarge would wear it backward, but this is not the same thing. It doesn't have the logo that you want to show.
Yeah, and usually if I'm out, and about and maybe walking around, I'll turn it around the other way.
All right, now hold him accountable for that, folks. If you see him out and he's wearing his hat like that, make sure you tell him he's got to switch it around.
Oh, no, I see a lot of them out. Trust me, all over the city here. Okay?
Well,
mostly at the restaurants, by the way.
That hat is compliments to the folks at Chevy. And again, it's the giveaway for Sunday here at the ballpark. Good play by Kubel. That finishes off this 6th inning. Phillies go down in order. Quiet 6th. We go Well, that's part of the storyline from tonight's ball game. Some power and some pretty good defense by the Phillies for a second consecutive night.
It's been loud here tonight. A lot
Sure
going
has.
on in this game.
The count is 1 ball and 1 strike to Delman Young.
Verizon Wireless game summary. Phillies with a couple crooked numbers right out of the chute. Big time scoring. 8-0 at that point. Then 9-0. Minnesota just got their first run.
There's a bullet by Young over the head of Ibanez, who plays it well, and Young's going to put the brakes on as he holds up with a long single. You know, all these runs that the Phillies have put together, two wheels. Joe Button's done a pretty good job tonight.
Yeah, he's done a good job front running. You know, that's what you ask from your pitcher. Get him some runs like that and go out there, throw strikes, and get him out.
Here's Nick Punto, 0 for 1. He walked back in the third. And he flied out to Jason Worth his last time up. In the air to right field. Jason heading back to the warning track. That's going to be gone. A 2-run home run for Nick Punto. It's his first of the year. This is a 9-3 game. I'm not sure if Charlie's going to wait much longer to go out and get Joe. Last home run was July of last year. And here comes Charlie Manuel. So that's probably going to be it for Joe Blanton.
Here it is. That pitch is up and out over the plate a little bit. And Nick Punto, as Tom said, is certainly not going to hit a lot of home runs, especially left-handed. His offside, or not his natural side, but he got that one up in the air and it jumped out of here.
So that's going to be it for Joe Blanton. Chad Durbin's been loosening up in the bullpen the last couple of innings. So Charlie's going to take the baseball from his starter. Joe goes 6+ innings. He allows 3 runs on 7 hits. His night is done. Pretty good bounce back night for Joe. Phillies lead at 9-3 here in the top of the 7th. Nobody out. We've got a pitching change. Hey, these lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. We'll see the prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. Oh, Joe Blanton, 6+ innings, 7 hits and 3 runs. And he's upset because he had a 9-0 lead, and it's down to 6 runs. And if he could have gotten a couple outs, he could have been through the 7th. But instead, it's Chad Durbin who will take over. 26th game, 3.16 ERA. And he will face the pinch hitter, Brendan Harris. And Harris was introduced before Charlie made the move. These pitchers are competitive. I mean, they want to get as many innings as they can. And they get upset with themselves when they get lifted from a game, particularly when they they have a comfortable lead. And they give up a couple of hits right out of the chute to start an inning, and they just miss with their location. See Harris's numbers this year: 17 hits and 106 at bats, and it's 1-2.
That was a changeup, it looked like, and it was high. You could see the grip on it. It appeared to be a changeup anyway. It was up out of the plate a little bit, and Nick Punto pulled it out of the ballpark.
Toward shortstop, Valdez to his left a couple steps, throws out Harris. One away here in the 7th inning. Here's Big Joe with one out. Denard Span, who's 0 for 3, is the hitter for the Twins. Joe gave up 3 walks tonight and picked up 1 strikeout in the game. It's pretty good against the Twins team that walks a lot, as we said during the outset. Now, they were patient at times, but not patient all the time against Joe because he was throwing strikes early. But a big lead will do that to you if you're a pitcher. A high 1 ball and 2 strikes to Span. Trying to check his swing, and he did. It's 2-2. Phillies bullpen comes into this game with an earned run average of 3.70. And a swing and a miss, and Span is down on strikes. So there are 2 outs here in the 7th. Phillies have the fewest innings pitched by a pen in the National League, and they should get better sometime in the next couple weeks. Ryan Matson is progressing nicely, and the hope is that he'll be back. And there's not a timetable. You would think somewhere around the All-Star break Ryan should be able to get back, if not right afterward, maybe right before. But that'll make this bullpen even better because it just increases the depth of that pen. As Orlando Hudson takes a pitch low. Opposite way. Ooh, knocked down by Polanco. Can he make the throw in time? And he does! In time to get Orlando Hudson. I wasn't sure if that ball rolled too far away. It didn't. Chad Durbin has a smile on his face. He gets the only 3 batters that he sees in the 7th, and the Phillies are really flipping. answer. Wheels, here's the question one more time. Can you name the former Philly who threw a no-hitter as a Minnesota Twin?
I forgot to think. Eric Milton.
I thought you forgot it.
Well, you know, when you first asked me, I thought I knew it, and then I forgot all about it. And is that the right question?
It's the right question, and it's the right answer.
Right.
Log back on thephillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans.
He almost pitched a no-hitter here.
He did. Matt Guerrier is the new pitcher for the Twins, and he delivers a strike to Chase Utley. 31st game for Guerrier. He's had a good year. 1.86 earned run average. Phillies lead it 9-3. Chase Utley's had himself a good night. Chase is 2 for 3. An RBI single run scored. A 3-run home run. And a run scored. He pulls that one to the right side. Morneau has it. And he just got Utley. Sometimes when you don't see these teams on a regular basis, you're thinking, it's a routine play. I don't have to hurry that throw. Give the pitcher plenty of time to get over there to cover, but not with Chase Utley running.
Yeah, and it's a long play, too. Look how far Morneau has to go for it. He takes a nice little pivot, underhands it, and, you know, if you're right, Tom. I mean, if he knew Utley a little bit better, that would be one where you're, as a first baseman, you're thinking about, I better throw this overhand and get a little cheese on it.
So one away, and it'll bring Ryan Howard to the plate. Ryan has 2 home runs tonight. Ball that looks the size of a beach ball to Ryan tonight. 2 home runs, 3 RBIs overall. He's got a triple. And it's inside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Here's Ryan's 2 home runs here tonight. In the second inning, got a breaking ball from Nick Blackburn and lofted it out of the ballpark. And then the left-hander, Ron Mahay. Guess that was a fastball down and in.
Yep.
And just dropped the head on it. Back-to-back homers tonight for the Phillies for the second time this week, second time all year.
And the line drive base hit. That's going to be another one for Ryan. He's got 2 home runs. He's got a triple. And he slides in with a double. 4 for 4. Well, he is really seeing the ball well against these Twins pitchers. First 4-hit game since August of last year.
Gets another at bat. He gets a single. They have a cycle.
Yep.
Well, he ripped that thing. He knows that's an extra base hit off the bat. And once he gets it going, he can run.
He's at second with 1 out.
That could be a cornerback seeing that come at you. Be like a tight end.
Be like Ironhead Hayward coming at you.
Oh, man.
6th time in Ryan's career that he's had 4 hits in a game. Jason Worth 1 for 1 tonight. An RBI and a sac fly and a walk. And he lays off a breaking ball. 1-0 the count. May not seem like a big thing, but it would be nice just to tack on a couple more here.
Sure. Just get in the habit of doing it.
That one's toward third. And Kadire surrounds it. And the throw is high, but the tag is made, and Jason is retired. He is limping. Boy, that first base bag has eaten up a couple of players tonight.
He made a funny move down there at the bag.
Shane Victorino hurt himself earlier in the game.
Here's a look at it. Looking the runner back. Kadire hasn't played a whole lot at third base. Makes a high throw. Good tag there.
Right there.
Jumped at the bag a little bit. And sometimes when you jump at the bag, you can hurt your ankle, hurt your heel. Watch right here. This last step. He's trying to read what's going on. He jumps at the bag, and hopefully he's okay. He just stung a little bit.
Scott Sheridan, Phillies athletic trainer, taking a look at Jason. 2 outs, and here's Raul Ibanez.
Jason's had a little bit of a sore hip off and on this year.
And a changeup taken low.
I wonder if maybe Charlie tried to get Scott Matheson in the game tonight. Right now he has Romero up in the bullpen.
There's JC. Scott sitting behind David Herndon talking to Brad Lidge in the bullpen. Good guy for Matheson to talk to since Matheson was closing down at Lehigh Valley.
There he is in the back behind David Herndon. Scott Matheson right there. Great story.
On the outside corner, it's 2-1. Ryan Howard's at second. He's got a 1-out double. With 2 outs now, Phillies look for a clutch hit from Raul Ibanez. And there's ball 4. The Phillies have 2 aboard with 2 outs. Well, it's time now for a Home Depot defensive plays of the game.
Yeah, there have been a few of them. This is a great play by Chase Utley early in the game. Throws out fast run of Denard Span. Here's trying to get an inside the park home run. Another good play by Chase Utley there, and a good tag by Ruiz gets Kubel at the plate. This one they decided they didn't need gloves. Just bare hand all around. Looked like a handball game. Home Depot defensive plays of the game.
Yeah, Home Depot doing more on defense. Runners on first and second for Carlos Ruiz, who takes a change up for a strike, and it's 0-1. Carlos is 1 for 3. Lined out, he flied out, and he singled to left. He's hit the ball hard all 3 times.
Guy's got a pretty good slider. Phillies really put the Yankees in a funk, huh?
They had the bases loaded in the bottom of the 6th against the Mets and did not score.
Still 1-0 New York Mets.
That's to go into the top of the 7th inning. Opposite way by Ruiz, and it remains no balls and 2 strikes. That's the thing about this division right now. It is surprising that the Nationals are playing the way they're playing. They're tied 1-1 at the bottom of the 9th inning. Steven Strasburg rolling along once again in his 3rd major league start. It's surprising to see how the Marlins have struggled lately, although they're winning tonight against the Rays, as that one's way upstairs. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Nationals drew 40,325 tonight for Strasburg. That's 10 more than they got for his debut 10 days ago. No walks, 10 strikeouts.
Most strikeouts by a major league pitcher in his first 3 starts.
Thanks to Marty Aronoff for that. Stat man extraordinaire.
Line drive and a few hops backhanded by Hudson. He thought about going to second. Nobody was there, and he throws out Ruiz. And the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit. 2 men left for the Phillies. We go to the 8th. The Phillies lead it 9-3. .com. Grab your bag. It's on. Well, the offense has been on tonight. So has the defense. The Phillies lead at 9-3. We go to the top of the 8th inning. The new pitcher for the Phillies is former Minnesota Twin J.C. Romero. J.C. really cut his teeth as a major leaguer with the Minnesota Twins. And early on in Ron Gardenhire's tenure, he was one of the big reasons why they were so good in the American League Central. I mean, he made up a pretty good bullpen for the Minnesota Twins. Made his major league debut in 1999 with Minnesota and pitched for Minnesota till the end of the 2005 season.
He's coming in here to try and continue this countdown of outs and get out of here with a win. Nice job by Chad Durbin. Come in, calm everything down after the Twins were kicking up a little bit of a fuss there. You know, they obviously still had a long way to go, but they had 2 in with nobody out, and just needed somebody to come get some outs, and Chad did the job.
So now JC will face Joe Mauer, Justin Morneau, and Michael Kadire. Mauer tonight has a single and a run scored. In fact, he scored the first run back in the 6th for Minnesota. JC just took some kind of wrap off of his elbow. Had it underneath that long sleeve shirt. Thought he was doing a magic trick, Wills.
That's what it looked like. Did he hide it?
Put it in his back pocket. If in case, you know.
I guess he needs it again.
See his career with the Twins. Made 22 starts, which is odd to think. 25 wins, a 4.35 earned run average. And an opposite field liner by Mauer, and that is a foul ball.
You go with the old game of inches. Oh, man. That is really close. This guy really used the whole field. Of course, he is a batting champion.
3 times.
And a catcher, no less, with all that wear and tear that position puts on a guy, that he can win 3 batting titles.
I think the other thing I was amazed at, I mentioned this before, that, you know, the Twins began play in 1961. They were originally awarded an expansion franchise, but then somehow the Washington Senators were moved to Minnesota, and the Washington franchise became the expansion team. It was kind of odd. But they've had 17 batting champions since 1961. That's a lot.
You know, well, Leave and Carew were there.
Yep. Kirby Puckett.
Kirby Puckett.
And now Joe Mauer. In the air to right field. Jason Worth started in. He's got plenty of time to head on back and make the catch for the first down. And 1 away here in the 8th. And it'll bring Morneau to the plate. Tuesday, July 27th, the Phils will be here in Philadelphia to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks in a 3-game series. All 3 games are scheduled to begin at 7:05. You can get your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. Phillies this year are 16-13 in this great ballpark, and by the time the Diamondbacks come to town, as Morneau hits the first pitch to the right side, JC over to cover, 2 away. It would be nice to kick that record well over the 500 mark and get that advantage that every team needs in their home ballpark.
Yeah, the thing about the Phillies is they played well at home, but they've really played well on the road the last few years. And, you know, this funk they've been in, that certainly has dropped off. You know, they won last night, so they're a game over 500 on the road. You're used to seeing them about 10 over 500 on the road, though.
Here's Michael Kadire with 2 away, and he takes a hack and fouls the first pitch off. It's 0-1. Kadire has a base hit tonight. He's grounded out twice. And he's out in front of an off-speed pitch. It's 0-2. And a line drive over the glove of Valdez, a base hit. Kadire's aboard. That kind of fooled Wilson a little bit. He never really got his feet under him to make that jump to try to make that play. Kadire's got his second hit of the night.
Guy's a good hitter. You know, a lot of the Twins people don't know that much about them, you know, playing in the market they've been in, even though they've been in the playoffs. But that guy can swing the bat. So can Kubel. You know, everybody knows about Morneau and Mauer, obviously, but those 2 guys are good players.
Not sure how much Kubel will play this weekend because, you know, normally, as Will said before, he's a DH, and they've massaged things a little bit defensively as Polanco makes the catch. The bat came back and hit Ruiz and Todd Tishner. It got a piece of Carlos Ruiz and Todd Tishner as it shattered in the hands of Jason Kubel. Oh boy, that's not a good thing to look at. Scott Sheridan came out to look at Carlos, of course, and the Twins athletic trainer came out to check on Todd Tishner. Ron Gardenhire's there too, and there's a lot of concern right now for Carlos and even for Todd Tishner, who got to his feet. He went down. Look at that. Oh boy, the bat head hit Carlos right in the head and then shot back and hit Todd Tishner too. That bat was moving pretty good.
I believe they didn't used to wear helmets.
Hey, the Phillies Baseball Academy is open for business for girls and boys ages 6 to 14. There's also softball for girls 6 to 14. Log on to PhilliesCamps.com. There's 15 great locations, 10 weeks to choose from. Great way to spend some summertime baseball fun with the Phillies Baseball Academy. Wilson Valdez is the leadoff batter for the Phils here in the bottom of the 8th inning, as Alex Burnett is the new pitcher for the Twins. Greg Dobbs has come out on deck. And Valdez is evened up the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. See Burnett's numbers, 25 games now, a 2.78 earned run average. Pretty good strikeout total in 32 1/3. And Scott Matheson is up and loosening in the bullpen for the Phillies.
Yep, there he is. Thought maybe they could think about getting him into a game, just depending on where the game was in the 9th inning. So it's at least a 6-run lead. It's a shame that number they gave him, huh? 47.
It's funny every time I see that. I mean, Larry Anderson pops right into my head.
Oh yeah. They're very different personalities.
You think so?
Very different.
There is only one LA.
Oh boy.
Ground ball to second base, right at Orlando Hudson, and he'll take care of Valdez. And 1 away here in the 8th. Well, here's what happened to Carlos Ruiz. Take a listen. You can just hear it. See how both of them just went right down.
Bats are so dangerous.
And Carlos took a walk down the stairs to the clubhouse with Scott Sheridan, the Phillies athletic trainer.
And so Brian Schneider will come out and catch a knife.
Tishner's all smiles right now with 1 away. Greg Dobbs is the pitch hitter. And Greg pops the first pitch down the left field line, and slicing away from Young and out of play. Greg Dobbs helped get this little surge the Phillies are on offensively started in Game 2 of the series against the Yankees. His RBI single drove home the first run for the Phils in the top of the 2nd. Brought home Raul Ibanez, who had stolen second base.
Big run.
It was a big run.
It was, because it loosened everybody out. And he's scoring a little more sense now in the last 3 games.
Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, they got to the point where, you know, you figure what can go wrong instead of what can go right. And, you know, sooner or later you hope you snap out of it, and that really helped.
It is a game like any other game where stuff like that happens, where you get those feelings. I mean, Charlie knows because he's been around for so long. But it's like that in any walk of life, where if things are going bad, you're looking over your shoulder thinking, well, what's the next thing that's going to go bad?
Especially in this business, because it's a failure sport.
Inside, it's 3-1. Well, Chase has kind of rectified things tonight, at least for the moment. He had a couple of really good at bats his first 2 times up. Made some really good defensive plays too tonight. And there's ball 4. So Dobbs draws a 1-out walk. And here's Shane, who's 0 for 2, but he had 2 walks early on that resulted in 2 runs. There's Brian Schneider all ready to go. Got some people banged up here a little bit tonight. Between Victorino, Worth, and Carlos Ruiz.
Yeah, Worth and Victorino stayed in the game, so that was a good sign. And don't know what Charlie was thinking about tomorrow. Maybe he's going to rest Ruiz anyway with a kind of day game after a night game.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, bottom of the 10th inning. White Sox and Nationals tied at 1. Shane pops it up left side of the infield. Punto, the shortstop, is over toward the hole, and he'll make the one-handed grab for the 2nd out. Well, after the ball game, tune in for Sports Night. Highlights and a recap of this game. Plus, the Sixers work out the 2 top big men in preparation for next week's draft. And the latest from round 2 of the U.S. Open. Get all the news Philly fans need to know on Toyota Sports Night. Tonight after the game on Comcast Sportsnet. U.S. Open's going to be on pretty late tomorrow and Sunday.
That's going to be fun to watch.
Here's Polanco, and he hits one back toward the middle, and Puto can't get it. Dobbs stops at second. And Polanco has his second hit of the night. He's 2 for 5.
Yeah, with the Open being played on the West Coast and going to televise late. Still be light out there at 8 o'clock, which is 11 o'clock at home.
Well, 2 outs, and here's Chase Utley for his 5th at-bat of the night. Chase had an RBI single back in the first, a 3-run home run in the second. And he's made a handful of really good defensive plays at second base.
Had an active night.
Runners lead off, not being held on, and he takes the pitch low. It's 1 ball and no strikes.
Had to talk to the media tonight about that report about a knee and all that. And you know he hates that stuff. Just not his way of doing things.
He doesn't like when people talk about him in a positive way, negative way. He just doesn't like being the center of attention.
He does not like attention, and you know that's just his personality. You know, because he's so good, you know, you're going to get attention. But you know, there's nothing wrong with that either, because some guys seek attention, and you know this guy just goes about his business, and you know he'll talk to people, but it's always about the team. It's not about him. And some guys, it's about them in sports. And personally, I like the guy that it's about the team.
1-1 the count to Chase. And a line drive to straightaway center field. Span makes the grab on the glove side, and that ends the 8th inning. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left. We've completed 8. We go to the 9th. The Phillies lead it 9-3. On Comcast Sportsnet. And Phillies coverage on Comcast Sportsnet continues Tuesdays as the Phils take on the Cleveland Indians. Coverage begins with Phillies pregame live Tuesday at 6:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Well, the long road back to the major leagues for Scott Matheson has finally ended as he'll take the ball here at the top of the 9th. Brian Schneider's the new catcher for the Phillies. Scott Matheson had 2 different versions of the Tommy John surgery over the last couple of years. That's what he did this year in Lehigh Valley, and he was throwing hard. Biggest thing with Scott was, could he command the secondary pitches, and he was doing a better job of that.
Always threw the ball hard, you know, and as you mentioned, Tommy hurt his arm twice, so He is really a good guy, and he's one of those people you root for.
Feldman Young leads it off, and he takes a pitch low. It's 1-0.
And what he has to be careful is you just do that 95. Don't come in here too overamped and try and do too much, because it has to be really exciting for him. Think how many times he thought he would never do this again.
Well, it hasn't happened often. I mean, Jose Rio had Tommy John surgery 3 times. That last fastball is like 98 miles an hour.
That's what they say he's been doing. Those babies are down, too.
Yep. 98 again. Anyways, Jose Rio had Tommy John surgery 3 times. You know, there aren't a whole lot of guys that come back after having it just 2 times. Chris Capuano from the Milwaukee Brewers just came back this year after having it for a 2nd time. Hang-Chi Kuo.
He really fired that one, and that one went 99. But there was a serious adrenaline rush on that. Hang-Chi Kuo can throw hard.
Yep. 2-2 the count. And another fastball toward the hole, off the glove of Polanco, and into left field. Young is aboard with his 3rd hit of the night.
You see, that pitch was right in the middle of the plate. Talked about it so many times in this business. You cannot throw the ball hard enough for a major league hitter if it's in the middle of the plate. They love it.
Well, back in 2006, as J.B. Moyer is sort of the opposite end of that spectrum.
Yeah.
2006, Matheson went 1-4 with an ERA of 7.47 in 9 games with the Phillies. And Punto pops up the first pitch foul. It's 0-1. Punto's got a home run tonight. It was a 2-run shot. And he was the last batter that Joe Blanton faced. Joe won 6+, allowed 3 runs on 7 hits tonight. Fastball in there for strike 2.
Talked about his secondary pitches. Well, he hasn't thrown any yet. Brian Schneider's just putting down 1. See here, break my glove in.
Punto is late on that 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and it remains 0-2. Matheson is from British Columbia, Canada. He is 26 years old. Turned 26 this past February. A former 17th round selection by the Phillies, who first part of his career was a starter.
Took a little off that one. It was a fastball.
Young not being held on, but not going. There's Ryan Matza. We're talking about him before. He's progressing, trying to get back to the club. And there's that secondary pitch, and Punto rolls it into right for a base hit. Young stops at second. And the Twins are the first 2 batters aboard here in the 9th. Well, speaking of guys that are working their way back, Jimmy Rollins tonight 1 for 2 with a sacrifice fly, a run scored as the Threshers took on the Tampa Yankees. And again, not sure about the timetable that Jimmy has this weekend. They're trying to get him some ABs. There's David Herndon. He's loosening up. Brad Lidge has also started to loosen up. And Danny Valencia, who has had a good run with the Twins. He'll be the batter, and he is ahead 1 ball and no strikes. Valencia is hitting .351.
They really want to get Matheson into this game with a nice lead, but 2 on and nobody out. And you know, you're getting near the top of the order, and that means that you may have to deal with Mauer and Morneau before this is over.
Up high, 2-0. There's a pop-up behind home plate. Over toward the Twins on deck circle. Schneider and Polanco meet, and it's Bryan who makes the catch.
Nice job by Brian Schneider, because Matheson, Phillies need an out right now, and they get it there on the pinch hitter. And this looked like it had a chance for a collision, and maybe it's a drop. And he takes charge there. Polanco gets out of the way at the last second, and he makes a play.
Polanco looked like he saw it, and it would normally be his ball in that spot coming down, but I think he realized that Schneider was coming so quickly that he just let it go. So, one away.
Plus, he's a lot bigger, and he's got all that equipment.
That's true, too.
That's a good reason to get out of there.
Span is 0 for 4. The Phillies have done a nice job keeping him in check tonight. And there's a fastball over for a strike, a little foul tip, and it's 0-1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. We were looking at Matheson's numbers as the season was beginning down in Lehigh Valley, and he was putting up some unbelievable numbers the first month and a half of the year. He had an ERA under 1 for a good part of the season. There's a liner back through the middle, a base hit. Young will hold up at third as Victorino gets it in. The bases are now loaded. And still 1 man down for Orlando Hudson.
You mean about fastballs in the middle of the plate in the major leagues? Which Doobie looked like he was stirring around like he'd make. Yeah, here he comes.
Well, this is not going to be Scott Matheson, you would assume, his only time here in the big leagues. They had been hoping that he would contribute at some point this year, but they just wanted to get his control under him at Lehigh Valley as Lidge continues to loosen up, get those secondary pitches where they needed to be.
He's only thrown 1. Yep. And it was a breaking ball, kind of a roller that Punto got fooled on a little bit. It was up enough that he hooked it in the hole for a hit.
David Hearn's letting everybody know that Brad Lidge is available and ready to go. Sam Perlazo just took the call from Danny Baez.
What Charlie Manuel said about 27 outs for these guys.
No, they need 2 more.
Here you go. They're making you earn it. Even when the game looked like it could be a blowout.
That ball got away from Schneider. That's going to move Young across the plate. Over to third goes Punto. Up to second, Span. It's now 9-4. And it's a wild pitch charge to Matheson. Runners on second and third with 1 away. The Twins have now scored 4 unanswered runs. Over the last 4. Swinging a foul ball, and it's 0-1 to Hudson. Or excuse me, 1-1 to Hudson. There's Punto over at third. Span at second.
Unfortunately, getting close to a save situation. 1 more base run.
Yep. And that's over for strike 2. That was a changeup.
I thought it was something off speed.
And it's 2-2. Back toward the middle. Valdez ranges over. He's got it. Spins. Fires to first. In time to get Hudson. A run scores. 2 outs. It's 9-5 Phils.
Boy, Ryan Howard did a nice job of staying on that bag, too. Really good job of reading that throw and staying on the bag, because, you know, that's safe right there. And you're in a save situation. The heart of the order's coming up. Valdez, good range, strong arm, but pulls him a little bit off. And you see a good stretch right there, and he stays on the bag. Here he wheels, fires. Nice job on the other end of it, too.
Well, Valdez had a lot on that throw, so Ryan hangs on to the bag. 2 outs and a pitching change. Scott Matheson's 2010 debut is complete. Brad Lidge is coming on in the ball game with a 4-run lead here at the top of the 9th. So far in this inning, as the Phillies lead has been whittled down to 4. It's 9-5, 2 outs though here in the top of the 9th. Brad Lidge is on in not a save situation, but he's just trying to get the final out so the Phillies could enjoy what has been a pretty good night offensively and a good night defensively as well. So he needs to get one more out with a runner at third. He's got the big boys due up, Joe Mauer and Justin Morneau.
Yeah, that's why they're making the change right now. They just decided not to wait any longer. Try and get this game over with one more out to go.
Here's Mauer and Morneau. Paul Hagan of the Philadelphia Daily News had a great story in the paper today about, you know, this combination of 3 and 4 hitters and how good they are. And they are good. The game has a number of them, and the Minnesota Twins have one of the best combinations in all of Major League Baseball. So Mauer will stand in, and that's the Phillies 3 and 4 combination right there. And it is a darn good one too, and it's been a really good one tonight. Lidge fires a slider, excuse me, for the first pitch. It's inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Span is on third.
How still this guy is when he hits. You know, watch some guys, you know, everybody has their own way of doing it. Not having getting the chance to see him all that much, and just watching him tonight, a little bit in spring training, once in a while on television. Not a whole lot of movement with him. And then he just loads and bang. Pretty swing, too.
And he lines one to right field. Jason Worth going back, and there's the final out of the ball game. Brad Lidge comes on and gets the last out here at the top of the 9th inning as he strands a runner over third. And the Phils have now won 3 straight games, and tonight it was a combination of powerful offense early on, some really good defense by this Phils club for the 2nd straight night. Ryan is our Chevrolet player of the game. 13 total bases tonight for Ryan Howard. 4 for 4. A double, a triple, 2 home runs. Pretty impressive night all the way around for the Phillies offense.
Sure was, Tom. And the best part about it was they got those runs early. They came right out and got 9 runs, or 8 runs right out of the chute. Led 8-0 after 2 innings. And then, you know, they could go through a few little valleys as the game went along. With the Twins, they stay after you. You know, they don't strike out a lot. They put the ball in play. They walk. And, you know, you can see why they're a team that leads their division. W.B. Mason deliveries of the game here in the 2nd inning. Chase Utley down and in and into the stands for a home run. And there comes Ryan Howard, a breaking ball. He followed Utley's home run with his first of the night. And now in the 5th inning, Ron Mayhay got a fastball down and in, and that thing's headed for the bushes in center field. Big night for Ryan Howard. He added a triple and a double. A lot of total bases for the big guy.
Ryan Howard now with 13 home runs to go along with 49 runs batted in. A good night for him, and he's down to the field. They're all smiles. It's Ryan Howard and Sarge.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. There, Ryan, 4 for 4. I know we've been talking about that power a little bit. Seemed to have gotten that stroke back.
You know, it just felt good. Just tried to calm down a little bit, take a little bit of a lighter swing, and not go and be so aggressive with my swing, but allow myself to see the ball and just kind of slow myself down.
How about that triple that you end up hitting, showing off those legs?
Oh, man. You know, I just saw it go into the corner, and then I just saw it kind of kick past Kubel in right field, and just had to make my mind up real quick. And as soon as I hit second, I knew Chase was going to keep going and just try to keep following.
Thinking about second, after you hit the double, had a chance to come up, back of the mind, you got in there, maybe that cycle?
You know what? I mean, just a little bit, but, you know, I was just going to go up there and try and continue my main approach, and that was just to go up there and try and get a good pitch to hit, and if it happened, it happened.
Off the left-hander, tell us about that second home run you hit.
Actually, you know, he threw me a fastball, kind of was a little late on the first one, and I was actually looking, you know, for him to throw a slider, and just came back with another fastball and was able to just track it and put a good swing on it.
Well, continue to hit that ball hard. Thank you for the post-game show there, and we'll talk to you down the line there.
Yes, sir. I'm going to try and do it like Sarge did.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Sarge, he'd have to flip his hat if he was going to do it like you. Phils win it tonight, 9-5 over the Minnesota Twins. We'll be back to talk more about it after this.